Good evening and God bless you. It is August 22nd, 1942. You are listening to CJMX Radio Manhattan, broadcasting from the top floor of the luxurious Sapphire Ballroom located in downtown Manhattan. CJMX can also be heard via repeat broadcast from Newfoundland to Florida, as well as Bermuda, Cuba, and Puerto Rico. Tonight, we will continue to bring you the news, entertainment, science reports, celebrity gossip, and of course, the finest in music.
Mandi, nichonga mazwanandi, dumani nonke. Nindi kumbo zubawo, nindi kumbo zumama, dumani nonke. Zichintombi ezinte, zichonga mazwantobe, zichoka mandi. Pola ne, ni ngoma emlandi, duma ni nonke. Duma ni ngome mandi, ni chonga mazwanandi, duma ni nonke. Nindi kumbu zubawo, nindi kumbu zumama, duma ni nonke. Zichintombi ezinte, zichonga mazwantope, zichoka mandi. Pola ne, ni ngoma emnandi, duma ni nonke. Umani ngoma emnandi bafana, ngoma emnandi, ndimandi balukusi. Delizio! Nonati! Dopo un nopo! Zonde lo zozito! Ingamba pana! Kukule makhala niphuma khona! Ebunzimeni! Nasebumnandeni! Ngiyadlula ke mina manje. Umani ngome mandi, nichonga mazwanandi, dumani nonke. Nindi kumbuzu bawo, nindi kumbuzu mama, dumani nonke.
First in news. The losses of the Dieppe raid continue to be calculated by Allied intelligence. Allied deaths are likely to exceed several thousand, with the Canadian Army enduring the heaviest losses. We now know that several Canadian mystery men who accompanied the raid are considered to be among the casualties. Newfoundland adventurer Canada Jack is confirmed dead, while Toronto's Captain Wonder has been declared missing in action.
I'm happy, sometimes I'm blue. My disposition depends on you. I never mind the rain from the skies if I can find sunshine in your eyes. Sometimes I love you, sometimes I hate you, but when I hate you, it's 'cause I love you. That's how I am, so what can I do? I'm happy when I'm with you.
German delegate to the League of Nations, Johann Schmidt, aka the Red Skull, insists that rumors of German incursions into the Soviet Union are exaggerated. Schmidt insisted that Germany is a peace-loving nation, not currently at war with anyone. Schmidt remains adamant that France, Belgium, Holland, and many other nations accepted German rule voluntarily, as will all nations once we realize the futility of resistance and the joys of German cooking.
Tumbling down around my head. Some of them are brown, some are red. Beautiful to see, but reminding me of a faded summer love. Swaying high above in the trees, they were so in love with the breeze. Now the autumn wind brings them to the end of a faded summer love. I'm like the four leaves that swayed with the breeze. I thought that life was sweet. You are the sweet breeze that tried hard to please, then swept me off my feet. Summer morning dew turns to frost. Leaves that once were new pay the cost. Beautiful to see, but reminding me of a faded summer love.
British Prime Minister Winston Churchill also briefly addressed the League of Nations, fiercely pressing for the provisional membership of Atlantis to be made effective immediately. Churchill has previously argued on behalf of Atlantis joining the Allied nations, in hopes that the Atlantean fleet can help neutralize the ongoing U-boat difficulties in the North Atlantic. Crown Prince Namor was scheduled to speak, but was sadly delayed battling Italian naval forces during an attempted invasion of Malta. Dateline. Africa. While the Allied and Axis forces continue their stalemate in the north, the war continues on. The tiny equatorial nation of Bandar has unconditionally surrendered to Imperial Japanese forces after more than a year of spirited guerrilla warfare. The leader of the Bandar, the so-called Ghost Who Walks, otherwise known as the Phantom, has been reportedly captured and executed by the provisional government. In South Africa, a massive air attack led by the elite German flying group known as the Air Maidens was only just beaten back by a variety of Allied fighters en route to Australia. The group, which included Airboy, Skywolf, and the Rocketeer, who were able to join with local forces to mount a spirited defense of the South African city, Johannesburg, battered and bruised, still stands.
You have a great way, an up-to-date way of telling me you love me. It gives me such a thrill. I know it always will. My head is turning, and just from learning your estimation of me. And as for you, I'll say, I feel the self-same way. You're the cream in my coffee, you're the salt in my stew. You will always be my necessity, I'd be lost without you. You're the starch in my collar, you're the lace in my shoe. You will always be my necessity, I'd be lost without you. Most girls tell love tales, and you'll find each phrase dovetails. You've heard each known way. This way is my own way. You're the sail of my love boat. You're the captain and crew. You will always be my necessity. I'd be lost without you. You are the cream in my coffee, and you are the salt in my stew. You will always be my necessity. I'd be lost without you. You are the starch in my collar, and you are the lace in my shoe. You will always be my necessity. Oh, I'm wild about you. You give life savor, bring out its flavor. So this is clear, dear. You're my Worcestershire, dear. You're the sail of my love boat. You're the captain and crew. You will always be my necessity. I'd be lost without you. That's all.
In local news, famed industrialist Oliver Warbucks has continued to publicly express his dissatisfaction with President Roosevelt's war policies, calling them slow-paced and destined for failure. Warbucks has recently proclaimed himself to be a 3-star general of his own personal army, which he intends to put at the disposal of the English military. Scientist Theodore Sivana is currently under investigation for the manufacture and selling of machinery to Germany, largely components used in so-called death rays, heat beams, and laser emitters. Sivana maintains innocence. Dateline Hollywood. Bob Hope traded punches with the Atom, Hawkman, and Joe Palooka today outside Mann's Chinese Theater. Not to worry, folks. Celebrities like Errol Flynn, Bing Crosby, and Bob Hope horsed around with members of the Justice Society as part of a larger series of films to release to our troops overseas. While we sure appreciate our heroes, we tend to think more eyes were of Betty Davis, Hawkgirl, and Judy Garland. Hope's heroes plan to travel to 15 American cities to promote war bonds before arriving in Europe to entertain the troops.
If it ain't dark, it's light. If you ain't sure, you might. It's gotta be this or that. If it ain't full, it's blank. If you don't spend, you bank. If it ain't Bing, it's Frank. It's gotta be this or that. Who can it be? If it ain't me, I know it's not your mother. Can't you see? It's gotta be one way or the other. Tell me what I must know. If you don't like, I'll go. If it ain't yes, it's no. It's gotta be this or that. What I must know. If you don't like, I'll go. If it ain't yes, it's no. It's gotta be this or that. It's gotta be this or that.
In the social register, East Coast timber magnates Nick and Nora Charles have extended their stay in Manhattan. Nora was seen at the Stork Club in a stunning and sheer off-the-shoulder dress made by Manhattan's own 43rd Street fashion house. Movie detective Richard Powell could be seen late in the night at the Copa, even agreeing to croon a tune or two for his date, the enigmatic dragon lady of the China Sea. Have you ever seen such a beautiful couple? Flash Gordon and Dale Arden have been spotted taking in a show or two along Broadway during one of their infrequent visits to Earth. Flash is rumored to have said the only thing you can't get in space is good Chinese food. Eat up, Flash! Delivery doesn't go to Mongo. Well-known police detective Michael the Hammer Deemers even took time out of his schedule to take his glamorous girl secretary to the automat. And sadly, dinner was interrupted by gunplay with Pretty Lips Van Helsing's 15th Street mob, but we hear there were no casualties, and the cheesecake was delicious.
You have a great way, an up-to-date way of telling me you love me. It gives me such a thrill. I know it always will. My head is turning, and just from learning your estimation of me. And as for you, I'll say, I feel the self-same way. You're the cream in my coffee, you're the salt in my stew. You will always be my necessity, I'd be lost without you. You're the starch in my collar, lace in my shoe. You will always be my necessity. I'd be lost without you. Most girls tell love tales, and you'll find each phrase dovetails. You've heard each known way. This way is my own way. You're the sail of my love boat. You're the captain and crew. You will always be my necessity. I'd be lost without you. You are the cream in my coffee, and you are the salt in my stew. You will always be my necessity. I'd be lost without you. You are the starch in my collar, and you are the lace in my shoe. You will always be my necessity. Oh, I'm wild about you. You give life savor, bring out its flavor. So this is clear, dear. You're my Worcestershire, dear. You're the sail of my love boat. You're the captain and crew. You will always be my necessity. I'd be lost without you. That's all.
Elements of the famed Black Hawk Group were able to join forces with Major Pappy Boyington's volunteer Black Sheep Squadron, aiding in carrier escort and submarine hunting activities near Samoa. Herr Joseph Goebbels has penned an open editorial in the New York Times questioning the morality of Allies' usage of so-called boy commandos. Please stay tuned for more music to take you far into the night. Remember to keep your lights out and to recycle scrap metal at your local war drive office. Remember, the war is won by will of those at home and those in the field. Please continue to listen for war updates as they happen.